Hello, 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 everyone. It's your man, Darren M. Palmer, here for another episode of Market Leader Live. While we're doing this show today, this is a special episode today because at the time of this recording, I know I've had people who emailed me, or I've been privileged to have some who just sent me texts dealing on some of the things that we're experiencing right now. And it's not like it's the elephant in the room, but it's the whole movement or the whole stand of "I can't breathe." So we're faced with a challenge in our society that isn't anything new, but we're dealing with areas where it comes from racial divide or situations that we're watching and experiencing in our communities. Some feel like it's a hit on black men or whatnot. There's some who feel like a divide that is propaganda for us political standpoints or whatever the situation might be. But at the end of the day, I think that all of us, it's an issue with humanity that we're experiencing right now. I think it's touching the hearts of all Americans and just people worldwide. It reminds me of something similar to what you experience. It's one thing when it's out of sight, out of mind, I think it's another experience when you see people going across the bridge or whatnot in Montgomery, when you're seeing dogs being let loose on people and children being bit, white and African American or whatnot, or black. And so I just think this is the issue of humanity. Regardless if it was Gandhi, regardless if it's Martin Luther King, I think all of us have more in common than some of the polarizing institutions or the media channels want us to think about. And so more than anything, with all the stuff, I know it is what it is, what we've watched. But one thing that I want to share with people out there, just my point and take on it, is make sure that you control the controllables and definitely take your stand. This is my point just to share. I'm not in agreement with anything, but I know it's good and bad, everything, no matter who it is. And I think that this is making a lot of us look at situations differently. But I think for me to just turn a blind eye and act like there are good cops and there are bad cops. If I say that there's a such thing as not a bad cops, I'm saying that the institution of being a police or whatnot I'm lying. There is no perfect anything to me besides, me personally. You might not agree with that, but my Lord and Savior. So there's no such thing as a perfect race. Not a perfect black person is not a perfect white person. Latino is not a perfect anything. But what I want to share just with the platform that I have is just the understanding that it's good and bad everything. Don't use this as a justification for people who to wrong somebody else or to hurt and harm somebody else that haven't did anything to you. Individuals who have done the wrong type of act, I do believe that that people should be punished or whatnot in whatever capacity that the justice system see fit. I know it's some corruption in all areas, even in the justice system, the whole nine. And I feel like just on all sides, no matter what side a person on, I think that some of the things that we're witnessing will help with changing some of the law and make people continue to make the legislators hear them, reach out to the local municipal courts or whatnot, whatever that they need to do. But at the end of the day, I want you to focus on how you're treating people. Are you praying for people? Just like what's happening with the COVID-19 situation, the acts of kindness, the acts of love, the acts of thinking about your neighbor, calling and checking on somebody, Skyping in or FaceTiming, or even getting into a Zoom room to show some love. At the end of the day, love conquers all. Now, I'm not saying that, I'm telling you not to feel the way that you feel. I'm not telling you, not to say that it's some things that need to change or whatnot. I'm definitely in agreement with that. But I also want us to make sure that we focus on love. I don't need to be, mad at somebody at the grocery store because they're a different skin color than me. I don't need to take it out on people that has nothing to do with the situation where somebody lost their life. I don't need to take it out on them. It's like what we call in sociology with displacement anger. I don't need to take my anger out. If you need to get the proper perpetrator or whatnot and see justice be done to certain people, I understand that. I just don't want it to spill over where we got hatred towards the wrong people. We're mad and upset at the wrong people. But I also want us to look at ourselves in the mirror and just ask, what are we doing? This is something that I've studied too. It's amazing. And I want you to think about this because I think sometimes as my grandmother used to say, common sense isn't so common. It's amazing to me that somebody can be molested, but then not all, but some choose and they grow up and they start molesting others. It's amazing to me that some can experience racism and then start using racism on others. To me, common sense would be if I don't like if someone is mistreating me, why would I mistreat somebody else? As the old school saying that we say in Texas, two wrongs don't make a right. So regardless who you are, question yourself. You notice I don't normally talk about stuff like this, but I want you just to think about what you're thinking. Do you hear what I said there? Think about what you're thinking. It's amazing to me how I see people who couldn't see anything good at all that President Obama did. And they were some of the main people who were banging and clashing and saying all the stuff was wrong. But it's not good and it's not all bad in anybody. But then at the same time, I see them turn right back around and holler that President Trump is the most hated on person that ever been a president. But it's amazing too that the same people who said that President Barack Obama was the most hated on president ever, they don't have anything good to say about President Trump. The same people that didn't have nothing good to say about President Obama don't, and say that they don't understand how anybody don't have anything good to say about President Trump. All I'm saying, people, is just use common sense. Don't allow for the airways, don't allow for media to put us against each other, because we got more in common than what the media wants us to think about. We want to keep us on fighting against each other and looking just at the wrongdoing. Not saying that we don't need to take care of what needs to be taken care of. But if we operate with a sense of love, if we try to open up the doors of really having some understanding, then things can change. Things can change. I would hate for somebody to judge me off who I was at 15 or who I was at 25, who I was last year even. I would hate for somebody to hold over my head mistakes that I've made, or I would hate to hold something over somebody for generations of something. It's not all good of anything. It's not all bad of anything. But I just want you to just take in consideration. Being a black man, and this is just being real. I've seen people who say that they don't like how the white man treat them and the white man is holding them back. But at the same time, for my Hispanic brothers and sisters, they'll say that a Hispanic brother, or I'm gonna just use the Mexican nationality, is holding them from keeping a job. So how can I talk about a white man who I say don't want to see me prosper, but at the same time I can talk about a Mexican man or a woman, But I just want us just to understand this. This is just my take. That's why I got my show, and I want to just share my point of view and perspective on it. But I also want us just to look at it for it is what it is. There's some good things with Republicans. There's some great things with Democrats. There's some great things with some independents. But we can't just get over here into our little silo and just think that whatever somebody does or say and does is good. Why can't I back the blue and believe that we need to look at injustices in marginalized areas? Let that sit for a moment. If I say there's some injustices taking place, does that mean that I'm unpatriotic because I'm looking at injustices all the time, but I can't say anything about it? But am I also wrong on the other side to say, okay, yes, I understand that there's some injustices, but at the same time, there are some good police officers as well that are on the edge because some people start tripping when a police officer is there. And so I don't know what happened and why that police officer had to be on the edge. But I also got to be able to say with the same grain of salt, how can someone go in and shoot up a whole school with assault rifles and make it out and have their day in court? But somebody else that I already know is shooting up the school and shooting up the business or shooting up their place of work, they can have their day in court. But somebody who's reaching for a phone or a brush gets shot, or they didn't get down quick enough and they end up dead. So Neither one is right. All I'm sharing is that you can't judge a book by its cover. Every situation is different. And at the end of the day, me tearing up stuff, me throwing trash cans, me shooting at people who didn't have nothing to do with it, me trying to jump on people who are just trying to get a job and get their pension and retire and be with their family, putting them at risk, is not changing the situation of evil. Guess what? You might didn't know it or not, but 9/11, you wasn't supposed to run a plane into a building during 9/11. But as my grandmother say back in the day, crazy is just crazy. You're going to have crazy out there, regardless of what, no matter how you put little signs up, no matter how you tell somebody that it's a law that you ain't supposed to do certain things. If you got people who want to break the law or abuse the law, that doesn't mean that they are a representation of all of us. Just because you are listening and you have your mind clogged with MSNBC, just because you have your mind clogged or whatnot, and you listening to Hannity and them over there at Fox, we got more in common than what we think. But we got to use the word that I just said, the T word, think. They're trying to get ratings. People are trying to keep us at odds. They're trying to keep us at each other's throats. I work with a group of people here in the office. I see everyone who works at this office, even though they might be of a different color, different nationality, whatever, they still care about their wives. They care about their husband. They care about their kids. They care about their grandkids. And they care about making a living. They want to have longevity. They want to be in good health. They want to make a positive change. But there are people out there who are different nationalities, different colors from different parts of the world who don't want to do what's right, who want to get over, who want to do the wrong things. So at the end of the day, yes, I believe in change. Yes, I believe that we need to work at the system or whatnot. But at the same time, I believe that we, the people, we have power. And I think that we feel like that we don't have power or whatnot. And I'm talking about people as a whole, that we can make a change by how we treat one another. We can only control what we can control. Now, we can make a difference together. But at the same time, I feel like we are in the country as well, where you choose how you want to make that difference. If somebody wants to pay for a scholarship with somebody to make a difference, if someone want to go into law to make a difference, if someone want to take a career in being in law enforcement to make a difference, if someone want to pray and making a difference, we're all entitled. But I don't think that we should be a dictatorship where we start wanting one person to do exactly what we do. If I work out a certain way, I don't mean that you got to work out the same way that I work out. What is that again? That's common sense. We're different people, different fingerprints. We do things differently, regardless of our nationalities, regardless of our skin color, regardless of where we're from. We do things different. I just want you to be encouraged today with all the stuff that's going around. There still are good people in the world. There are still people who want to make a positive change in the world. And I know that there are people too that are martyrs. There are those out there who want to do wrong. You got people who will die for right, but you got people who will die for wrong as well. That's always going to be in existence here in this world. So I just want you just to be encouraged today. I can't breathe. I understand it. But as a nation, as a people, as humanity, we got to make sure that we're able to breathe with one another, to work together, to create the dialogue, to see what we can do to fix this situation. I don't think anybody has the right answer for everything. If that's the case, there'd be a rich person or we wouldn't have any problems at all. But I just want you to understand the importance of there are good and bad. That's not going to ever change. But me getting upset at somebody at work, me blowing blowing a gasket, me snapping on my kids, me getting into it with somebody at Staples, at Costco, because I'm in Whole Foods and I'm throwing bananas and fruit because I'm mad about something, is not going to bring a life back. It's not going to change the situation. So I hope this can be a blessing to somebody out there. I know this message might not be for everybody, but this is just my take on I Can't Breathe or whatnot. I'm praying for the families. not only of that gentleman, but all the other families, those who aren't publicized, those who weren't caught on film, those who are going through things. I'm praying for those who are out there who being mistreated, and they are good officers, but nobody never hear that. I know the same feeling. There are great clergymen and women out there, but the only news that you hear about is somebody who molested somebody going to church, somebody who robbed somebody. You know, isn't it amazing that while the country has been down, some of the first things that people started worrying about was church going to be going on, and all the preachers were bad because they was having service, they was money hungry, but people could still stand in line and be in great groups at Sam's and at Costco and at Walmart. That was still okay. That was still convenient. Nobody didn't say this was Walmart going to have to come down. Isn't it amazing that the church is non-essential, but going to Costco and Walmart and to the convenience store and to be able to buy lotto tickets is essential? Think, stay woke. It's not a black or white thing. It's not a Latino or Filipino thing. It's a humanity thing. Hope y'all are blessed. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.